Mayday, Mayday, we got a team down. That is the story of Africa at the ongoing 2022 FIFA World Cup. Senegal now out, only Morocco are in the competition. Welcome to Yesterday at the World Cup on Nigeria Super Fans Forum. My name is Olivier Giroud. Today, we, of course, will quickly look at games that were played yesterday. Of course, as a matter of fact, a round of 16 games. And Senegal, after so much expectations, they felt like a pack of cards to England. James Agberebi joins me live in the studio. James, you're welcome.
Thank you, Femi.
Yesterday, we were together when that game was being played. And I don't know whether I should say a feeling of disappointment or it was what you expected for the Senegalese, because it was like there was no direction. I might not have the right words to put it, but I wouldn't know. They were just running here and there without a definite game plan, or was it that the English didn't even allow them to settle all through the 90 minutes of the game?
Well, for me, a disappointment from the Senegalese, because I expected a better performance, which unfortunately they didn't give us. I mean, they played into the hands of the English side. Because one thing you will notice about the English team is they love running a lot. They love the physical, running, long balls, and that was what Senegal were doing with them.
So Senegal should have come with maybe a more tactical, with a tactical counter.
To counter what they were doing. But they were just, I think the Three Lions forced the Senegalese to play their pattern, and that was what they did from the blast of the whistle to the end of the whistle. I didn't see any game plan. I didn't see any organization. I didn't see any team play. They were just running all through, and that worked perfectly for the English team. And the one thing about the national team of the English, the Three Lions, is once they come into a game, they always start like a house on fire. They run at you. They will everything just to put you off. They want to get you go. They now revert back to defensive mode. Because I think one thing about them is, in terms of defense, it's about safety first for them. You remember when they played against Italy at the Euros, that last Euros, they scored first early in the game, scored by Luke Shaw. Got that early goal, and we all thought, okay, maybe it's finally coming home. But when the Italians now took over the game and started playing their own style of football, from that midfield, where you had the likes of Jorginho, they had the likes of Marco Verratti. I mean, the guys in England, the midfielders, they just couldn't cope. So they all went defensive. So they thought maybe they were able to defend from the blast of the whistle to the end, but they couldn't cope. Even the changes made by the coach, Southgate, was just very poor substitutions. Were just hanging on. So for me, the Senegalese just gave the game away. When you play against England, and one thing I observe about them, if they come up against a side that can keep the ball, that don't rush like them, that make them to chase, you see that they will retreat. That was what happened between them and the US. The US matched them for speed. US paraded one of the youngest team in this World Cup. So they matched the English team for pace, and they were better in terms of keeping the ball. So you now saw that the English team, they struggled. But the Senegalese, they matched them for pace, and aside that, nothing. They couldn't keep the ball. There were no. I was expecting them to spray the. We know that they're a possession play inside, but I was not surprised why they decided to go 2-2, try to outpace the English, try to go physical, and that was most of the goals that the Three Lions scored were just like from counter. The minute they hit the ball, even the Jordan Henderson that hardly scored, they had a goal. So for me, it was a disappointing performance. I didn't expect that from Senegal. Even
African champions.
Yes, and when they even lost to the Netherlands, still see a better performance. They did well, just that they lost concentration.
So for that moment,
in this game against England, I mean, it was a bad performance. From the blast of the whistle till the end, they were doing the same thing. They had just, I think, one shot on target all through the game.
Yeah.
Just one shot on target. Aside that, they were just so easily contained. So, as in every move was easily cut out by the English defense, and it just made them look like
In prime Brazil.
Prime Spain. You know.
But isn't that ridiculous to the English side? Or
No,
you're still not convinced?
No, that's what I said.
You're still not convinced that they are one of the tournament favorites?
I'm not convinced because when they played against a team as small, permit me to use that word. I know it sounds
small in good now.
They couldn't cope. They couldn't cope with the pace of the Americans. They couldn't cope with their playing style. They came with their own playing style. Senegal didn't come with their own playing style. They were just playing the same pattern. They were trying to go physical, I don't know what they were trying to prove. And at the end of the day, it backfired. So for me, it's so unfortunate that they just went out of the competition like this. And it still now goes to show that no African team has ever defeated England at any whether in a competitive game or
in a friendly game. Nigeria, of course, England extended their unbeaten run against the African side.
Beat Ghana, beat Morocco, beat Tunisia, Cameroon, Algeria. No African team has ever defeated England, and that record still stands.
Don't worry, the Super Eagles will break that record. And James, let's talk about France 3, Poland 1.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for who will stop Mbappe. 2 goals in that game, 5 now, top scorer. He's leading the race for the Golden Boot. And he has now equaled Cristiano Ronaldo's goals at the World Cup. Ronaldo has got 8. Ronaldo has played. This is Ronaldo's 5th tournament. This is just Mbappe's second tournament. He's now got 9 goals, Ronaldo 8. The French side, are they looking like a team that can retain this title?
Well, I think from the quarterfinals, if they go past the quarterfinal, you cannot take away you can't take your eyes away from them, because from that quarter, that's the midpoint now. So anybody who crosses that part is as good as being tipped as one of the favorites. They missed a couple of players coming to this World Cup, but they've been able to, still forge ahead. You see the game against Poland. So the way they took out the Polish team. After scoring the first goal, the Polish, made an attempt to come back. Then Mbappe just wiped them off. That's what they call an elite team.
Like an atomic bomb.
They just, the consolation, the goal, Lewandowski was just consolation. It was so deep into the
penalty.
Game. So, they've proved time and time again that so there are some games that they'll struggle, but they always find a way to come out with the result. That's what big teams, that's what they do, and that's when you have big players, they come to the party. Look at a player like Olivier Giroud, now the top goal scorer for
France. He has surpassed Thierry Henry.
52 goals. Then, I remember Mbappe too, he had an assist for the first goal. He now capped up with a brace, 2 solid goals.
I think the record of the most goals at the World Cup is, I think it's about, is it 15 or 16?
15, 16 by close, I can't recall, but I think it's 16.
Okay. Because I remember De Lima had 13, right?
Then,
before De Lima retired.
Yeah, then Close now
extended in. De Lima surpassed Gerd Muller's record, I think. Then closer now. I think Mbappe, this tournament, I think he might even get closer to that record. By 2026 World Cup, maybe he might set another record.
As long as France don't go out in the quarterfinals, he's somebody that you bank on that.
France are beating England now. I don't need to ask you think we'll win that game.
So for me, as long as France are still in the competition, once they surpass the quarterfinals, Mbappe still has like 3 more goals in him to score, and that will make him get even closer. He still has age.
He has even surpassed his achievement at the 2018 World Cup. He scored 4. Now he scored 5 in how many games? 4 games.
And there's someone that is not even a 9. The typical Lewandowski, Benzema kind of strike. He operates
from the wing.
Exactly. So the English team, they have their work cut out. As in, if they feel they will just focus on Mbappe and cut him out, and they feel that will make their job easier, I think they should just wake up from Disneyland.
Yes, I do not agree with you, because England, they have Maguire. You think Maguire can't stop Mbappe?
You're just trying to be sarcastic. I understand where you're coming from.
Maguire has been one of the revelations of this tournament. Yeah.
Against which teams?
Against the US, he did very well. Okay, of course, almost African teams have crashed out now. Just Morocco left, but the fun has to continue, of course. there are still developments coming out of Ghana's crashing out. I would say untimely, because we expected them to at least get a draw in that game against Uruguay. We can't continue to cry over spilled milk, but it is something that we need to talk about and learn from. James, very quickly, time is almost not on our side. In 30 seconds, do you think Aliou Cisse should still continue with Senegal? This is about his 7th year in charge. Do you think he should still continue in 30 seconds?
Well, for me, he should still continue. I don't think, fine, they lost heavily to England, but that's football. We've seen...
because this is the second World Cup, and this was the managed to go past through the first one. Unfortunately, they were unlucky to crash out to Japan.
So sometimes it's about who you meet on the when you get to the knockout stage. Unfortunately, they met an English side who came with their own game plan. While on their own part, they failed to come up with a game plan. That's why they were trashed like that. So for me, he should still continue. I mean, why do you want to remove him? I mean, there's chemistry between him and the players and his technical crew, and with the FA, So why do you want to change the coach? It's not as if they did so badly, or maybe they were hammered or something. I mean, so continuity is very important. You still have the AFCON. By the time you now come on, bring somebody new, it's like starting all over again. You have young, exciting players. So why do you want to now change the setting?
Okay, let's talk about Otoado now. He's been talking. He said when he was appointed, that a session of Ghanaians wanted him to fail, and now to them he has failed. James, why do we keep going round in circles? Well, you know how much we canvass for support for Otoado at this tournament, that if the country has given him the responsibility, everyone should rally around to support him. And now he's coming out to say, I'm sure this is like coming out of deep pain. Of course, he's pained as much as every one of us that Ghana didn't win that, they didn't get a point in that game against Uruguay. But for him to have come out to say that a section of Ghanaians wanted him to fail, and now here is it.
Well, it's not typical to Ghanaians. This is something that's common everywhere. I remember even the days of Clemens Westerhoff. There are people who wanted him to fail, to leave the scene.
The former Super Eagles coach.
Yes, Clemens Westerhoff, So I think Otoado should hold his head high. He has done well. It was so unfortunate that they couldn't go past the group stage. But at least one thing that they cannot take away from him is that he qualified Ghana for the World Cup. He has matched the record of Kwesi Appiah and can't remember the man who took them to 2006 World Cup.
Indigenous coaches now.
Yes, so when the names of coaches who qualified Ghana for the World Cup, his name will be there. You cannot take that away from him. And again, he won a game at the World Cup. It's not easy to get a victory at the World Cup. Egypt, with all their records in Africa, they've never won a game at the World Cup. They've been to the World Cup 3 times. No, the highest they've gotten is a draw.
Against who?
I think they drew against, that was the Italian 90. They drew against...
I think also, they lost or drew against Saudi Arabia in 2018?
Yes, they lost. Their first World Cup was, I think, 1954. They were the first African team to go to the World Cup. Since they've never... there's no victory to their name at the World Cup. So they're the only top North African side still looking for their victory. But how do we were able to kick out to get? And
they have won AFCON with reckless abandon
7 times and nothing to show at the World Cup. So I mean, kudos to Otoado. I know he's pained and he had to work under serious pressure, but he was still able to get a result. It was so unfortunate that the way they went out against Uruguay was just poor planning, but he has done well. So I believe he would have learned a thing or two that will help him in his future endeavors. Who knows, he might still come back as Ghana coach. I remember Kwesi Appiah, I think he had 2 spells with the Black Stars, if I'm not mistaken. So who says Otoado cannot come back? So he can come back. By then, maybe he would have learned a lot. And maybe he will win the AFCON for Ghana.
I doubt that very much, though, because Otoado has European background. I think he has some ties with Germany. Maybe he was born there. I cannot say precisely. But I know he has a lot of ties with Germany. And these Europeans with principles. And of course, because ordinarily someone would expect that he will resign his job at Borussia Dortmund and maybe take the Black Star job on a full-time basis. So, of course, the World Cup is almost grinding to a halt now. African teams, Morocco plays tomorrow, and please let the fun continue. We want you to tell us who you think will win this 2022 FIFA World Cup. Put it there in our comment section, and of course we'll see how much that is going to crack us up. So please don't forget that we are still very much in bringing you the best of the World Cup. James, very quickly today we have Brazil will be taking on South Korea, then Japan will be taking on Croatia. Do you expect the big boys to pull through very quickly as we leave the studio?
Well, I'm tipping Brazil to see out South Korea.
Okay.
They would have watched their game, know how dangerous they can be. So
that's what they did to Spain?
Yeah, and they did to...
okay, sorry, it was Japan, Spain, but South Korea, in that very difficult group, they came out.
They were still able to find. We want to say, okay, maybe the Portuguese, because they've already qualified, so that's why they kind of soft-sped a little bit. But, I mean, these Koreans...
They still have something in them. They have something in them.
You must be ready for that. They can run all day, you know. So, and for Croatia, I think they have their work cut out also, because this Japanese side defeated
Germany and
Spain. So you don't want to take such a team lightly. So they have their work cut out also. It's going to be a big test for the two teams. If they can scale this, I mean, we know that, okay, they're one of the favorites for the World Cup.
I think this Croatian team, they are aging and they are not as spectacular as that of 2018. If you do not agree, please also let us know in the comment section. Please, thank you for all the support. The notification button, please click on that button. Please share our videos, and whatever things you think we want us to know about what Ghanaians are saying. I'm addressing this to our Ghanaian fans now about Ghana's exit at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Please put it right there in the comment section. Things that you think we should talk about on the show, please put it right there. But the latest development is that Otuado is saying that a session of Ghanaians wanted him to fail, and now, like they say in the north, Gafili Gadoki, of course it has happened now, and everyone is still reeling. I saw a very funny interview of one of the Ghanaian fans in Qatar who was saying that all the backroom staff that Otuado took to Qatar, they were just eating. Somebody was telling him that they brought them to He said they have been eating and eating. It was funny at the same time, but you could see the seriousness, the anger, the anguish in that.
I don't know.
And they're supposed to eat. I didn't not going to eat. They were there to serve the nation now.
Angry. The way Ghana crashed out, it's just painful. He's looking for scapegoats to blame. So that's just it.
For me, as far as I'm concerned, I do not even have any team to support anyone in this tournament because Ghana are out. Maybe Morocco. Now that Morocco is the only African team that I will just throw my weight behind them. James, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Femi.
Okay, so until tomorrow when we come with another episode of Yesterday at the World Cup. Keep enjoying this tournament because, of course, remember, by December 20, it will terminate. 20 rather. By December 20, it will terminate and we'll have a new world champion. So until tomorrow, bye for now.